What's going on, guys? Moose here. I wanted to make a quick video about, well, actually, a couple friends of mine asked about, well, how to survive in hardcore in PoE. Um, in Path of Exile, the hardcore mode is like pretty difficult. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's not that bad, but especially for beginners, there's just there's a lot of stuff to know, and I feel like people who don't know, they just spend a lot of their time dying. And I mean, obviously everybody starts somewhere, but I feel like you can get ahead of the game a little bit by doing your research and getting some tips and stuff. So I guess I'm here today to like throw out a few tips for hardcore play. Just some general like build advice, what you should watch out for while you're leveling, and then even up to like maps, like what you should basically basically what you should like watch out for, what you should do, just general advice for hardcore mode basically. So anyways, starting out, I'm actually playing a pretty flavor of the month build right now, so this is like, it's kind of cheesy, but I've played like plenty of like other stuff. Like I think my favorite build is a Reeve duelist. That was pretty fun. But right now I'm playing an incinerator. Pretty much the main thing that's strong about this build is, number one, it's ranged. It's not like long range, but it's ranged enough. It's got a ton of armor. You can see I'm running 13k armor, and this is before flasks. So if I pop flasks, I can get up to, 32k plus. And I mean, I'm only level 85, so I still got plenty of points to put in. So the build is pretty tanky, and the damage is there too, definitely. Right now my damage is sitting at, without using RF or anything, I'm sitting at 6k. With RF, I'm sitting around 9k. And with like the right gems and stuff set up, and once I get a 6 link, I'll be even higher. So Incinerate's really broken right now, by the way, so I mean, it's kind of like a cheesy build to explain this on, but you can pretty much do this with a lot of builds. Like I recently ran a Cycloner, which is another flavor of the month build. Like I said, I did this with a Reaver, a Duelist Reaver, which is actually fairly like underpowered. I mean, you basically need like a 5 or 6 link for that, but just by following like these general guidelines, like you can do pretty decently in hardcore. Number one rule, to be honest, is, I mean, it goes without saying, but you just need health. You need a shitload of it. I mean, it doesn't matter what class you play. You want to prioritize health over everything. Unless you notice your damage is starting to lack while you're leveling, in which case you can either try to upgrade your gear or you can go for some damage nodes. But yeah, in general, like even when I was playing Duelist, as a Duelist I came through here, I got these 3 health nodes here. I came down through melee damage. I was playing shield, so I got these shield nodes. I also got these, no wait, I was playing dual wield, that's right. I got these dual wield nodes. Then I came down here and got the HP, and you can see I just kept going. I got Fortify. You just want to get as much HP, as much defense as you can. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. The best builds are the ones that can stack defense while still dealing like a shitload of offense. And it's just how it is. It's just hardcore. Your final line of defense is always your HP. After your armor, after your evasion, after everything, you just go down to that last drop of HP. So it's super important. You definitely need HP, and pretty much all the classes that have access to HP, which would be, Templar, Marauder, Duelist. So like you have like Marauders right here, you have like all this HP here, you have the Scion Wheel here, you have all this HP up here, you have Combat Stamina, you have Discipline and Training, I mean, and even then you have like these armor nodes right here. Like all this stuff is just super useful. Duelist is the same thing. You can come down here, come straight down, get this regeneration node right here, and then either get IR right there, come up here, and follow this outside and get blood magic, or you can follow this and kind of shortcut your way up to this regeneration and health here, regeneration or health and armor here, and then like just all these nodes. They're all just so good. But rangers have a little bit more trouble, and I always tell people as ranger, like, you really want to go shield because you get access to a lot of really OP shield nodes. But as ranger, I ended up getting about 5k health and about 2.5k energy shield with a really good in-game shield. I think the shield had 450 ES on it, and it ended up basically multiplying 5 times to give me about 2500, and this is because, Well, just for example, where are the shield nodes on Ranger? I got some up here. 40% increased defense from shield. Like that right there is super OP. So you don't really have HP, but you have a type, you know, you have sort of kind of HP. And it combines really well with Leech, because if you start to, like, you know, take chaos damage or something, you can start to leech back up, and then once you max out, you can, you know, your ES kind of gives you a buffer as long as you're not, you know, getting hit or whatever. I find that having a hybrid ES/life is a little better than having flat HP, unless you're Marauder and you just straight up regen everything. I mean, that's like greater than anything. And as Scion, you pretty much just want to stack jewels all day. You want to come and get, I believe some Scions do go for the Scion health tree, but in general, jewels are just so OP. You can get health and damage with basically 2 skill points in most jewel nodes. I don't really play too much Witch, and I don't play too much Shadow, but I know they're pretty ES heavy, so you can go like for CI, Ghost Reaver. I mean, most people just do CI heavy builds. I know with Shadow you can get some like HP and go for like a, same thing like with the Ranger, you can go for like a Ghost Reaver, like Life Leech, or not even using Ghost Reaver, you can just do a Life Leech build. You can even do Evasion, that's another thing, but pretty much HP's king. So yeah, that's like pretty much lesson number 1. That's pretty much like a brief like summary of all the classes. I don't want to like go too far into it because I still have to touch on like gear and stuff. Okay, so the main things you want to have by the end of like normal, I would say by like Act 3, Act 4, at least for Act 4, you want to have Staunching, because Dominus deals, his second form deals bleed, and it actually can hurt if your like armor and stuff is not terribly high. And there are other mobs that deal bleed that it's really important to, like, if you find a rare golem that has like corrupting blood or something, it can deal a shitload of damage to you. I'm not really sure when corrupting blood starts to spawn, but it's just good to have Staunching. I mean, just to get it as soon as possible, because you're going to probably need it. You can tank through Dominus's bleed with a lot of characters, especially with Leech in normal, but once you get to like Cruel and Merciless, I mean, it's just something you have to have. You just have to have Staunching. It'll get you out of so much shit. Warding really doesn't come into play that much in normal. I normally just try to get one by the time I get to maps, and if you can get one earlier, that's just great, because there will be some stuff that curses you, and when you get LE weakness, or you get like just whatever. I mean, you could get any sort of, you could get conductivity and it could be a lightning mob, or you could get just flammability and it could be a fire mob. Like, you just don't know. Like, you get enfeeble and that just fucks you over in like a whole nother way. Like, I don't know, there's just so many combinations of shit that can fuck you over. So warding is definitely advised. I feel like Iron Skin is super useful. I don't normally go for it on the Quicksilver, but it's like with this build I didn't really use the granite, so I swapped that out for a Quicksilver of Iron Skin instead of a granite of Iron Skin, so that pretty much covers the Iron Skin kind of, and like you said, like you saw before, I had plenty of armor, so that's pretty decent. I don't use Adzeres with most builds, especially in new leagues. No one has an Adzeres, so I'll normally swap this out for the granite with Iron Skin. And then on this, I'll normally have Grounding, which eliminates shock. That's a huge thing to have, because you'll end up getting fucked over either by, there's like a corrupted skeleton that uses Vol Rain of Arrows, but he also shocks all the ground that it hits, and if you're standing in it, you don't realize it, and he hits you again. I've almost been one shot by it with like an extremely tanky character in Merciless. He took me from about 4.5k to like under 500 health, because I was shocked and I did not even realize it. And that's not the only mob that shocks. I know Dominus, when he teleports to you, he drops shock on the ground. There's countless other mobs that use it a little bit. And shock is just, in general, it's just a pain in the ass. So you definitely want to have a shocking potion, like one that cures that. And this is really good if you're IR or if you're evasion based, because so how like Iron Skin works is obviously it'll give you armor, but then when you have Iron Reflexes, which if you don't know what that is, it converts all evasion rating to armor. So you actually can double dip with the Flask of Iron Skin, so you can actually reach like exceedingly high values of armor just with those 2 flasks alone, and it really helps you tank some stuff. Like I know on my Cycloner I was able to tank Dominus in maps, which is like a tier 9 map, and he actually had, I don't believe he had a damage mod, but there was something he had. No, it was just an area of effect mod, it wasn't anything crazy. But I mean, I took a hit from Touch of God on Dominus and I lived, which it scared the shit out of me. I thought I was gonna die. Like my heart sank as soon as I saw him like casting it, but I lived, and it was pretty much all because of those 2 potions. I popped both and went from 8k to about 1.5k. It was pretty rough, but that's another just good thing to have. So pretty much like the mandatory like stuff you have to have, especially if you're melee, is grounding, Iron Skin, warding, and staunching. You have to have all 4 potions. If you're ranged, you can sort of kind of deal without either warding or grounding, kind of. I would say you still want Iron Skin. I would say you still want staunching, just because, for example, rare Corrupting Blood mobs will end up fucking you over. You have to have staunching. Rare Corrupting Blood is when you hit it and it gives you a stack of Corrupting Blood every hit. So especially if you're an attack speed build, you can end up really screwing yourself over it. That's actually how I got my 87 Ranger killed. So I was just really tired one morning, and it was like 12 attacks per second, so he was like super attack speed, Claw Reaver, and he just was like laying into a golem, and I thought I could finish a golem off and didn't even notice my HP just like dropped to 0. I could not even like cleanse the bleed, it was so fast. So it definitely happens. What else? Oh yes, super important. So okay, having HP / armor / whatever is number 1, and the potions are definitely number 2. Like those are mandatory to survival in hardcore. Like you basically want to make your build like stupid proof. Anytime you hit a potion, you want to be cleansing something, anything negative that can kill you. Because shock, I think, adds 40% damage or some absurd amount of damage. But when you're already having trouble dying and you add shock on top of that, it just makes things worse. Same thing for vulnerability with curses. That's what this is for. You really want to have your potions in order by at least like Cruel to Early Merciless. It's like huge, very important. Last thing that I can think of for now is you want to have multiple forms of mitigation. And what I mean by that is, for example, I have armor, which is like the primary form. I also have, I mean, I guess you could consider potions and like the leech from Azirs. You could consider that a form, I guess, maybe, whatever. I'm not really going to argue that. But then I also have cast when damage taken, summon Chaos Golem, which gives me 4% Fizz reduction as long as that's out. And he has a shit ton of health, so he doesn't really die. Tempest Shield gives you a higher block chance, and it gives you 60%. Obviously, you can see it says 60% damage effectiveness. So that helps with some damage mitigation. And Molten Shell, 812 additional armor. It does damage to all the enemies that are hitting me. I'm not sure what the damage effect. Maybe that's just the damage effectiveness of Molten Shell when it's active. Huh. That makes me think about Tempest Shield. Anyways, but the main thing is you just get the armor and you get like an AoE. Like anything that's hitting you takes quite a bit of damage, so it's pretty nice. Molten Shell is definitely nice to have. All these cast when damage taken when I take 2874 damage. Normally you want cast when damage taken like very low level. And like right now mine's level 18, which is kind of dumb. The lower the level it is, the lower the amount of HP that is required for you to take in damage for it to activate. So if it was low level, it might only take 1k or 1.5k instead of like 3k, which means that all these abilities are just going to activate more. I think the reason that I have that is so I can level Chaos Golem higher and Molten Shell higher, but there's not really a great reason to have it super high level, I just do. Anyways, the next thing I have is Enduring Cry. If I can recommend any skill over anything, it's Enduring Cry. Even if you don't get the endurance charge nodes, which are super OP. You can get 4 endurance charge nodes, which are all, there's one right here, there's one right there. There's one further down. It is, oh yeah, there's one right there, and then there's a fourth one, or is there? Oh no, the fourth one I always get from Oak and Merciless. If you help Oak, you get one free endurance charge. So you get the 3 from the tree, you get that one plus the 3 default gives you 7. Each stack of endurance charges gives you 3% flat physical reduction and 3% all resist. So while you have all 7 up, you get 21% flat phys reduction and 21% all resistances. This shit is so OP. And every time you cast Enduring Cry, you get a huge boost of life regen. Like, it's quite massive. In my opinion, the skill is broken. You're able to pretty much spam it. The cooldown time is 4 seconds. If there's a single skill that I would say is 100% mandatory on every hardcore build besides maybe like a CI build, and even then they could probably use the Fizz mitigation and the resists, I would say it's Enduring Cry. Enduring Cry is so freaking good. With 7 endurance charges, you are like, that 20% Fizz reduction is massive. It's so useful. Like, people, it's just so underrated. A lot of new players don't like using it because I guess it's just work. You have to put it on a key and you have to actively use it. But once you get used to using it, it's second nature. It's extremely easy. Just put it on, like, you know, I've had mine on Q, and it's second nature. You could even put it on something like Mouse 5 or whatever, and you know, whatever works for you. But the skill is super good. It's one of the best, if not the best, defensive skill in hardcore, in my opinion. I have Grace, which I don't normally run auras, but since this is a RF Incinerate build, I need Purity of Fire, so I just stack another aura with it. So this evasion stacks with IR and gives me more armor, which is just nice to have. And then the Purity of Fire is just so I can use RF without degenning to 0. This is just Lightning Warp. You need a good mobility skill, by the way. Any class, whether you're an archer, archers need Mirror Arrow. If you're a caster, Lightning Warp or Flame Dash. If you're, you know, melee, Cyclone or Whirling Blades. If you're, you know, any class needs like a good mobility skill, a good spammable one. And I have it linked with Less Duration Blood Magic, so Less Duration makes the casting a little faster. You can also attach faster casting instead of Blood Magic. I guess I just opted to use this for whatever reason, but it's fast enough for me, so. But yeah, what else? A good aura, a good curse. You need like at least one good curse. For defensive mitigation, you can use Warlord's Mark. It gives you life leech, mana leech, and it gives you endurance charges, or at least a chance to generate them on every enemy kill. You can use Assassin's Mark, gives you more chance to crit, I want to say. Gives you a chance to get power charges on kill. You could use, I mean, Enfeeble if you're taking too much damage, especially on hard-hitting bosses. I like to carry Enfeeble sometimes. For stuff like Cole, Dominus, just the bosses where they have one-shot mechanics or close, it can help you survive. Stuff like that. I mean, you really want to combine as much defensive mitigation as you can. Like, just stack on top of each other as much as you can. Like, I mean, I'm talking like I have Enduring Cry, that's 21%. I have all my armor. I have the Chaos Golem, which is another 4%. I have Tempest Shield, which is extra block and whatever damage mitigation. I have Molten Shell, which is more armor and more damage. Like, I mean, there's just so much stuff, and you can even combine CWDT with Immortal Cry if you're really good at generating endurance charges, which will basically give you a spammable invulnerability to physical damage. It's really nice for certain encounters and really bad for others, but in general, it's pretty nice to have. Immortal Call is not bad, and even just leaving it off of CWDT and just casting it it's really nice. If you have 7 endurance charges, it's like 3 seconds of invulnerability, and I think you can extend that with increased duration. It's definitely pretty good. What else to touch on? Really, those are the major things in terms of gear setups, like stuff you can actually do on your build. The other thing is you need to be familiar with like the encounters. For example, like Brutus and Merciless has been known to one-shot people. You need to know about like Cole and Solaris. He can easily one-shot you, especially when he gets like a the tormented spirit. If he gets the one that like increases damage, or I mean, he can get one of the fire ones, or like I don't know, there's a lot of shitty tormented spirits Cole can get that can just fuck your day up. But Vol in like Cruel Plus can either one or two shot. Especially in Merciless, he's pretty much a guaranteed one shot to anybody. Um, let's see who else. Piety Abomination. If you don't have armor in Act 4, you just get destroyed. She's pretty rough. The laser she does is like almost purely physical damage, and it's pretty high too. So if you don't have like, I normally carry Enduring Cry with me to that fight, but if you don't have it and you don't have armor, it can be really rough. It can more than 50% shot you every laser. Malachi's pretty rough. And then you have like the little encounters. Like there's just so many little mobs that you have to worry about. Like I know Northern Forest has a lot of shitty mobs that like Devourers. It has some like crazy like unique snake. Has some other stuff that's just very just rippy. You don't really have to worry about the bandits anymore, so those are pretty like easy mode. But you really just have to like know a lot of little stuff. Let's see, what else is there? There's a crazy ass Devourer in the Imperial Gardens. He's a unique, and he can definitely like he can do a lot of damage. He almost one shot me in Merciless one time. I didn't die, but it was close. Oh yeah, another thing, corrupted instances. It reminds me because the Docks has the worst corrupted boss. Like holy shit. The corrupted boss in the Docks is this invisible snake. He uses smoke mine and some other shit. I don't even know, but I went in there one time with my ranger and didn't even see him, and took like 80% of my health and damage, and he was faster than me. Even with whirling blades, he was literally catching up to me. I was dude, I freaked the fuck out. Like I was so scared. That's one of the few times where I just like felt completely helpless running out of that place. Like, and they make you run up this long ass dock. Like dude, it's like at least 100 steps, so like you can be damn sure that you are stuck fighting that boss if you get up there. I've had a lot of friends rip to him. And I mean, there's plenty of other corrupted bosses that are hard. So I mean, corrupted instances are another thing that you should just completely avoid unless you're familiar with them. There's this little like he's like a little like spider-looking thing. He's not even a spider. He's like I don't know. He's just like this jumping like bug thing. But he has lightning thorns, and he like shoots out like a crazy amount of spark every time you hit him. Like, and he just like constantly spams it, and he does a ton of damage. He's almost killed me before. And there's just a lot of people that if you're not like ready for them, like that archer and Merciless, they can also kill you. The one that he shocks the ground with Fall Rain of Arrows. He puts like shocking ground right where he fires, and then you like run over that and you take 40% increased damage. That shit's pretty rough. Obviously Comb and Duresso they give a lot of people problems. Vol in the lake kind of, but not really. I mean, he's pretty easy in general. But for some builds, he can do like a bit of damage if you're like low on armor. I mean, there's just so much to know. PoE's honestly just a game of knowledge, and I mean, I could sit and go through like mob encounters all day, but you'll never really know as much as you need to know to be able to like clear the whole game. You really just have to play, die, and learn from every death. Like I don't know, pretty much everyone who succeeds in hardcore has like died. Who knows how many times? Like just way too many. It's just one of those things you just have to play, but. A lot of these tips, especially stuff like potions, oh yeah, once you get to maps, you definitely want to look up what maps are like easy, what maps are hard. There's a wiki that has a like tier ranking of all the maps, so that's something you should take advantage of because it could definitely save your life instead of just jumping into some random map. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just find like a good solid build. It doesn't have to be flavor of the month, you know. People have some like crazy misconception that you have to play Incinerate or Cyclone or you know one of the crazy builds in order to succeed, but you really don't. Like, I mean, You know, I've gotten to maps with a Reaver that with 4.5k HP or 5k HP. I've gotten to maps with a Ranger, an Archer that had around 6k HP. I mean, and then I've also gotten to maps with Incinerate, with Cyclone, with all these like Flavor of the Month builds. I mean, it really just comes down to knowing what to avoid when, and using what where, and just being ready for this and that. That's why staunching flasks are just so good. But I feel like I have at least given you guys a bit of tips. So if there's any like other questions you guys have for me, anything in this video that I said that was wrong, feel free to point it out. If you guys want to see more videos like this, or I'm actually thinking about doing map tutorials soon where I just run through like tier 1 to tier whatever. If people are interested in that, or maybe you're only interested in seeing like tier 7 to whatever, let me know, because I'm curious about what the hardcore community actually like wants. I don't know if people actually need help with like tier 1 to 5 or tier 5 to whatever. Like, if you guys need help with something, definitely let me know, because I'm willing to do the videos. So yeah, anyways, that's it. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you next time.